everyone, this is Stephanie with Suedel Therapeutics and Wellness. I wanted to show you today a quick introduction to sensory brushing. Some people call it the Wilbarger brushing protocol, but the Wilbarger has changed a little bit here and there from over the years, and lots of different therapists have their own take on it. This is what I've found to be most helpful. So for the brushing technique, this is what I use. I use this type of brush. You can get them on Amazon. If you look at the bristles of the brush really carefully, they're actually flat on one side, so that when you press on them one direction, they bend easily, like this. But if I press on it this way, they don't bend as easily. And so we do want to make sure that when we brush, that we use this type of brush and that we use the brush in a certain way. I'll show you that today. When we do the brushing protocol, typically we will do the arms and the legs and then the back. I will do, with Anna Lynn, I will do the arm and then the leg, and then we'll show you the back. When you do brushing with a child, you'll want to make sure that you kind of follow their lead. Do as much as they'll tolerate at the time. They may be able to tolerate more at one time versus another, and that's okay. Some is better than none. And if they show a little bit of a ticklish response, or they say that it is uncomfortable, then just follow their lead and either stop the activity or make the brushing a little bit less intense as far as how much of the skin that you're actually brushing. You do want to make sure that you're brushing on bare skin rather than over clothing. If you do it over clothing, you are not really getting the benefits of using the bristles themselves, and instead you can just use heavy-handed brushing, which is a great technique as well, and we'll go through that in a little bit at a different time. But really, you might as well just use heavy-handed brushing if you're going to go over clothing. The brushing protocol is typically indicated for people to help with sensory calming who have touch sensitivities or tactile defensiveness. It also can be really helpful for kiddos who have poor proprioceptive input or difficulty with body awareness, because it helps them learn where the borders of their bodies are. It can also be very organizing and relaxing because it activates that deep pressure touch part of your tactile system, and it kind of floods the light pressure, the light touch sensation of your tactile system, and reduces that sensitivity over time with that. Typically, when you're trying to do the brushing protocol, you'll want to do it several times a day if possible. I typically recommend 3 times a day, right away in the morning, after transition back home from activities or your daytime school or daycare types of things, and then right before bed would be great. It can really help with sleep once kids learn that it is organizing and relaxing to them. So I will show you how to do the brushing protocol on Anna Lynn. So I'm going to start by making sure she's in a relaxed position. You can see she's pretty relaxed right now. You'll want to make sure that she stays relaxed throughout, and that she can be comfortable and not having to work real hard to stay in a position. You'll start up at the shoulder and you'll brush straight down to her fingertips. You'll want to stay on the outsides of her arms. And what you'll do is you'll try to brush about 10 times or so. You'll be able to kind of gauge by the way that that limb feels when they've achieved that relaxation response. So usually after about 5 or so, you'll feel a relaxation response, and then I usually do about 5 more. Oftentimes I will hold the bottom part of their limb so I can really feel that relaxation response. You can go just down like I am with Anna Lynn, or you can go up and down. Kids will have a very definite preference. As you can see, she does not like up and down. Just by observing her response, it was not her favorite feeling. And so we're not going to do that with her. We'll get her relaxed a little bit more after all that. Yeah. And after we've done the whole arm, then you're going to do the same thing with the palm. So you're going to hold that hand open and try to brush down the palm. And again, push nice, deep pressure into the brush so that those bristles of the brush bend. We're going for deep pressure touch, not a light touch when we do this. There we go. Now we're gonna do her leg. Same thing with the leg. Can you bend your knee up just a tish, Nance? Okay. When you do her leg, again, you'll want to do on bare skin. So if they're wearing long pants, you might only be able to do, you know, the lower leg and foot, and that's okay. That's why it's also good to do it right before bed and before they get dressed in the morning, because then they're usually in transition changing clothes anyway. It can help with making dressing go a little bit easier for kiddos who have touch sensitivity. So what we're gonna do here is start on the outside of the leg and brush down all the way to the foot. We'll want to make sure again that we're on the outside of the leg, and then we do nice deep pressure touch on the outside of that leg. Like that. How's that feeling, Anna? You look pretty relaxed. Yes, one of your favorite things, isn't it? Yeah. After that is done, you can do the bottoms of their feet by putting the bristles of the brush down and brushing up their foot. Anna does not love that sensation all that much. I'll do it one time. See, that's not her favorite. But that's one thing you can do. Some kids love it. Others, like her, don't. And that's okay. That's why we all have preferences. Now, after you've done both arms and both legs, then you're going to work on doing the back. So Nance, can you sit up and turn around? Now, can you sit on your butt, like sit with your knees tucked under you? There you go. And then scoot this way, just a hair. There we go. Now, what you're going to do with the back is ideally you're going to want to go all the way up the shoulders and all the way down to the waistband or past it when you brush, and you're just going to brush in up and down kind of W motions, okay? For her, she's wanting me to just do the middle of her back today, but that's what you would do with the brush. So your brush would go up and down just like this over that bare skin, okay? Make sure that if they're like a wiggly sitter, that you get nice and low on their waist, because that will help stimulate that spinal galant reflex to become a little bit more integrated and less touch sensitive. Also, if you have kiddos who struggle with tolerating waistbands, then this can be helpful to get kind of down in this area. So I'm just gonna, can I pull your shirt up just a bit, Nance? I'm just gonna pull it up a little bit so you can kind of see how to do it. Up and down. Do you like that feeling down there, Nance? Like that. And then after that, we're all done with the brushing step. All right, Nani, you can sit back down, okay? Now, some kiddos, after you've done the brushing protocol, they are looking really relaxed and they don't need anything more. They're feeling really comfortable. You've activated that deep pressure system very well. Some kiddos do really good when you also add in the joint compression step. So we'll go through that next. The joint compression step just further activates your deep pressure touch and your joint compression body awareness proprioceptive system. It activates the little receptors inside your joints called Golgi tendon organs, which are a big fancy word for the receptors to say how much pressure your joints are getting at a time, and that directly ties into your proprioceptive system. So it's a great activity to do for kids who have trouble with body awareness. but it can also be very calming and organizing for kids who seek lots of heavy input and work and movement. So we'll go through that next. We'll get to it. You'll do the same thing, arms and legs and then shoulders. Are you ready? Okay, so what you'll do is you'll try to, again, keep them in that nice relaxed position. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna stabilize closer to the trunk, and then you're going to push towards that stabilized joint, okay? So can we move your hair super quick? Can you just sit up real quick so we can do this one? Okay, so I'm gonna stabilize right here, and I'm going to compress the shoulder joint. So I'm gonna push up towards that shoulder joint. It kind of looks like I'm pulling, but actually I'm pushing and then relaxing. And you want to do this pretty slowly. A lot of people, when they try to do it, they end up getting carried away and go a little bit fast. And then that's very alerting to your proprioceptive system. So you want to make sure you go slowly. Does that feel okay? After you've done about 5 to 10, you'll do the same thing with the elbow joint. Again, stabilize above and then compress up towards. I usually kind of compress and hold for about a second. Do you like that? It's relaxing, isn't it? Just like that. And then we'll do the wrist joint as well. So again, you'll stabilize above, and then I usually put my thumb inside the crook of their hand, because then I can stabilize their wrist a little bit and push towards that wrist joint. You do want to make sure that you keep that joint aligned when you do the compressions. You don't want the wrist bent and then trying to push at an angle. You want to make sure that they're well aligned to be able to activate those Golgi tendon organs well, but also just to protect the joint itself. You're tired. This is relaxing, isn't it? Yes. If you want to, you can do the individual fingers as well. You can lay back now. That's just fine. If you do the individual fingers, same concept. You will stabilize above and push down towards. So I'm stabilizing here and pushing this joint towards the trunk of her body. Like that. Some people really carry a lot of tension in their hands, and so giving them some deep pressure touch to their fingers and their hands can be very relaxing to them. So you'll just kind of go like that. Does that make sense? Yeah, she says it makes sense. So you'll do that to each finger, okay? And then we'll do the lower limb, okay? Now, I'm going to use this leg for this one. Keep your legs straight here, Nani. Just there you go. Now, what you can do for this part is, I'm going to turn the camera just a hair. There you go. What you're going to do is hold right here and then at the knee, okay? And you're going to push towards the hip. And then you're getting hip compression, knee compression, and ankle compression all at once. Is that good? Yeah. There. So what you'll do is you'll do the same thing with both arms and both legs. And then, I hate to even have her sit up, but then you would have have her sit up or stand up, and then you'll go right at the shoulders. So sit up nice and tall, and you'll push down on the shoulders. You might fall asleep on me. Some kids really also love pressure on their head. She does not so much, but what you can do is put your hands like this and then kind of just give a little squish, kind of around, all around that head, and relax. Do you like that or not? Not so much, but yeah, so that's one other thing you can do too, okay? The last part of this protocol that you can do is oscillation. So this is step 3 that you can do to really relax a child. It's a great thing to do right before bed. It's also a really good activity to do for a kiddo who kind of is tense and doesn't know how to relax. They just literally, you can say, relax, sweetie, you're fine, calm down, and you just can't get they can't get their body to relax. It's a really great way to teach that feeling by using oscillation to teach that activity and that sensation. Okay, go ahead and lay back. Oscillation is basically a fancy word for alternating slow rhythmic movements. And oscillation basically helps relax that tone by just providing that rhythmic movement. So you'll do it on the arms and on the legs. All right. So for the upper arm, what I do is I put one hand on the tricep, the back of the arm muscle, and then the other hand on the bicep, the front of the arm muscle. So here is her bicep. So I'm going to put one hand across there, and then here is her tricep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly roll it like it's Play-Doh and let her relax into it. You don't want to go fast. Again, rhythmic, slow movements. Again, about 10 or so. You'll feel a nice relaxation response in those limbs with that tone just releasing. With the forearm, you have 2 bones in your forearm. You have one that runs along the thumb side, and then one that runs along the middle, the baby finger side. What you're going to do is, again, take one hand along that bone along the thumb side and one hand along the bone on the little finger side. And then again, just roll that joint back and forth. And there, I just felt her tone relax. Her hand just kind of went a little more limp. And like that. The last part of using the arm, you have dirt on your hand, is to do the oscillation at the wrist. So you'll want to be careful that you don't put your thumb in the base of the hand. You want to kind of put one thumb along this part of the hand. This is called the thenar eminence, the thumb eminence, and then this is the pinky side, the hypothenar eminence. So you're going to kind of make a V with your thumbs and just rock that hand from side to side. Again, about 5 to 10 times. You'll see that relaxation response. You'll do the same thing with both arms. And then with the leg, what I do is I'll come down to the bottom a little bit more, so I'll be kind of off camera. Oh, so relaxed. I'm gonna hold kind of at the knee, and I'm just gonna, and see how I have my arm and her foot kind of resting in my upper arm here. And I just am gonna rock her whole leg. And there went her tongue. Did you feel that relaxation? Yeah. Good. Good. And then with the foot, can you bend your knee super quick? With the foot, what you're going to do is at the ankle, rock the foot back and forth. You can hold it this way and rock it. You can hold it this way and rock it. Whatever feels most comfortable for you, but we're gonna wanna get this ankle joint relaxed and loosened up with that oscillation. Some kids don't like their foot touched, and so that's why you'll wanna kind of adjust where you place your hand to do this one. Just like that. And that is oscillation. So, as you can see, for some kiddos, it can be very, very relaxing, and it can be very helpful for kiddos who struggle with sleep, and relaxing and settling in for sleep. Oh, she's stretching really hard. Oh, you ready to sleep? Yeah. So, if you have any questions, just let me know, and we'll work on it together. Every kid's a little different, so make sure that that if there are some changes from this video, that we talk about them, and we can get them all handled for each child. Again, you can do this 3 times a day. Typically for about 2 weeks is a good time frame to kind of really work at it hard, and then taper down from there. Occasionally, when there's a change in routine or there's added stressors, you may want to reintroduce these activities to help with sensory relaxation. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.